In the world of public figures, there's a line. It's a blurry line for sure, but it's the line that separates trash talk from genuine chaos, strategic promotion from a dangerous obsession. Today, we're looking at two stories that show that line has been completely obliterated. In one corner of the combat sports world, a brilliant and calculating former champion is waging a psychological war, using brutally personal insults to lure his rival into a high-stakes rematch that feels more like a crusade than a competition. And in another corner, a disgraced internet personality, a man who built an empire on a lie, has taken his bizarre one-sided feud with the world's biggest podcaster so far that it actually landed him in the back of a police car. We're talking about Israel Adesanya, who is calling out his rival Sean Strickland in the most personal and venomous way possible, turning a professional rivalry into something that feels deeply, deeply personal. But just as that fire is being stoked, the story of Brian Johnson, a man the world knows as the Liver King, has taken a turn that absolutely no one, not even his harshest critics, could have possibly seen coming. What began as a strange challenge to Joe Rogan, a desperate plea for attention, has escalated from a weird social media spectacle into a full-blown legal nightmare. A train wreck complete with an arrest, a restraining order, and the Violent Crimes Division. Two very different worlds, a fighter's octagon and an influencer's phone screen, are colliding, and the fallout is simply impossible to ignore. One man wants to settle a score inside the octagon, to reclaim a title and vanquish a ghost from his past. The other just got a personal visit from the Violent Crimes Division after making threats against a man who doesn't even know him. We are about to break down two of the wildest, most compelling stories unfolding in real time. First, we'll dissect Israel Adesanya's ruthless and meticulously crafted campaign against Sean Strickland. And then, we'll unpack the shocking arrest of the Liver King, a man who took his obsession with Joe Rogan to a terrifying and dangerous new level that crossed the line from online drama to criminal charges. For a while now, the UFC's middleweight division has been simmering. But now it's on fire, and Israel, the last stylebender Adesanya, is standing there holding the blowtorch. For months, the enigmatic former champion has been uncharacteristically quiet, receding from the spotlight to plot his comeback. But that calculated silence has just been shattered in the most explosive way imaginable. His target is singular and crystal clear: Sean Strickland, the man who authored one of the biggest upsets in recent memory when he defeated Adesanya back in 2023. And Adesanya isn't just asking politely for a rematch. He is launching a deeply personal, multi-pronged psychological assault. It's a war of words designed to do more than just build hype. It's designed to mentally break his opponent before they ever step into the cage. During recent media appearances, Adesanya has locked in on Strickland's physical and mental state with surgical precision. After seeing a recent photograph of his rival, Adesanya didn't just throw an insult. He crafted one. He pointed out that Strickland, a fighter famous for his relentless, unfiltered stream of consciousness, has been strangely quiet. And to Adesanya, that silence is suspicious. "Sean, it's June Men's Mental Health Month," Adesanya said, his voice dripping with faux concern. "I hope you're looking after your mental health and your physical health, you fat bee." The insult is sharp, a brutal jab wrapped in this bizarre, condescending layer of fake wellness advice. He's weaponizing the language of mental health to question Strickland's fortitude, suggesting that the only reason a guy known for his own relentless trash talk would go silent is because he must be going through something. "I think he's going through something," Adesanya commented, twisting the knife by adding that he saw a screenshot where Strickland looked fat now. For Adesanya, every moment of Strickland's silence is an opening, a perceived crack in the armor that he can mercilessly exploit. He's poking the bear, relentlessly and publicly, trying to force a reaction and build an undeniable narrative for a rematch he's actively pushing for, targeting a date in September or October. But this crusade isn't just about getting a belt back. For Adesanya, this is profoundly personal. He has peeled back the curtain and explained that Strickland's whole persona, the abrasive, bullying style, taps into something much deeper, a wound from his past. "I used to get bullied a lot as a kid, so he's an embodiment of that in a sense," Adesanya revealed in a moment of stunning candor. "He attacked the young me, the inner child. So I just want to protect him and get some get back for him." This is a fascinating and rare peek into the mind of an elite fighter. He feels he has more to avenge than just a loss on his record. He's reframing this entire rivalry as a battle against his own history, turning the potential fight into a psychological war waged on every possible front, using any platform he can to get under the skin of the one man he needs to face next. So, while Israel Adesanya is meticulously using words as weapons in a calculated call-out, another, far stranger story has completely spiraled out of control. moving from the realm of bizarre online antics into a very serious criminal matter. This is the story of Brian Johnson, the man who called himself the Liver King. He built an entire empire, a massive following, and a fortune on a carefully crafted and highly marketable image of ancestral living. He preached a primal doctrine of a raw meat diet, extreme physical challenges, and a rejection of modern comforts. Central to this entire brand was his famous, repeated, and vehement denial that he used steroids. A lie that totally and spectacularly crumbled when leaked private emails revealed the truth. It turned out he was dropping over $11,000 a month on a pharmacy's worth of performance-enhancing drugs. The man who lied to his followers about the source of his physique, the same guy who once sat ringside at UFC events trying desperately to get Joe Rogan's attention, has now led his one-sided feud with the podcaster Mushroom into a full-blown public obsession. Rogan, who had publicly used his massive platform to call out Liver King for deceiving his audience, became the sole focus of Johnson's increasingly erratic and alarming online behavior. The mask of the ancestral leader had slipped, and what was left was raw, unfiltered, and pointed directly at Rogan. It all started with a direct challenge, which was strange but not yet criminal. In a series of bizarre Instagram videos, Johnson, often shirtless and swaying weirdly in a way that viewers found unsettling, called out the UFC commentator. "Joe Rogan, I'm calling you out. Man to man, I'm picking a fight with you," Johnson declared, his tone a strange mix of aggression and desperation. "I have zero training in jiu-jitsu, you're a black belt, you should dismantle me. But I'm picking a fight with you." What could have easily been laughed off as a pathetic attention grab from a disgraced influencer took a serious and dark nosedive. Johnson announced he was traveling to Austin, Texas, the city where Joe Rogan lives and works. He documented his journey, posting videos along the way, and his statements grew more and more alarming. This was no longer just about a hypothetical fight. In one clip reportedly posted after he arrived in the city, he looked into the camera and said, "Just pulled up to the capital of Texas, guess what, you're deadbeat." With those words, everything changed. He was no longer just some character online. He was a man making a direct threat while actively closing the physical distance to his target. This is the moment the story crosses a line that can't be uncrossed, the line between the digital world and the real world, between clout chasing and criminality. Alarmed by the increasingly threatening posts, Joe Rogan's team did what anyone would do. They called the Austin Police Department. Rogan provided a statement to the authorities, making it clear that he'd never had any interaction with Johnson whatsoever and viewed the posts as genuinely threatening. According to the court documents, Rogan described Johnson's behavior as significantly unstable and also noted that he'd heard rumors that the influencer has a significant drug issue. With a credible threat established and a statement from Rogan, detectives with the Violent Crimes Unit acted swiftly and secured an arrest warrant. They located Brian Johnson at the Four Seasons, a luxury hotel in downtown Austin. And in a move that says everything you need to know about his mindset, Johnson's own team filmed the moments leading up to his arrest. They posted videos of him praying with his family, creating content out of his own downfall, before officers appeared and led him away in handcuffs. Brian Johnson was taken into custody and charged with making a terroristic threat, a Class B misdemeanor in the state of Texas. He was booked into the Travis County Jail and held on a $20,000 bond. The spectacle had finally met reality. The fallout was immediate and severe. Johnson was released on bond, but his freedom now comes with strict, legally binding conditions. He is banned from having any contact, direct or indirect, with Joe Rogan or his family. Furthermore, a restraining order mandates that he must stay at least 200 yards away from them at all times. But if you thought that getting arrested, charged with a crime, and slapped with a restraining order would be a moment of clarity or humility for the Liver King, you would be dead wrong. Almost immediately after his release, he was right back on social media. He posted rambling videos of himself on a vibration plate, talking about his arrest as if it were just another chapter in his content journey. He doubled down on his challenge, telling his followers that the videos won't ever stop. This brings us to the heart of these two explosive, yet wildly different situations. On one hand, you have a master of mental warfare, a fighter using calculated insults as a strategic tool to set up his next huge legacy-defining fight. On the other, you have a man who has apparently lost all connection to reality, turning a desperate social media stunt into a criminal case that could have lasting consequences on his life. Israel Adesanya is playing a high-stakes game of psychological chess, attempting to bait Sean Strickland into the exact fight he wants, on his terms. But will Strickland take the bait and respond with his signature aggression? Or is his silence a strategy of its own, a sign of something else entirely? Meanwhile, the Liver King saga has devolved into a public train wreck. a cautionary tale about a man spiraling out of control in real time. His obsession with Joe Rogan has taken him from internet infamy to a jail cell, all while the camera is rolled. It's a truly wild and cautionary tale about the darkest side of chasing fame and relevance in the digital age. Right now, the entire middleweight division is holding its breath, waiting to see if Adesanya's provocations will succeed in generating one of the most anticipated and personal rematches of the year. At the same time, the entire internet, it seems, is morbidly watching to see what Brian Johnson does next, and whether his bizarre quest for relevance will land him in even deeper, more serious legal trouble. Two very different battles are being fought in the public eye. One is for a championship legacy, waged with skill, strategy, and psychological cunning. The other is a chaotic, desperate scramble for attention at any and all costs. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Israel Adesanya's trash talk crosses a line, or is it all fair game in the high-stakes world of professional fighting? And what is truly going on with the Liver King? Is this a genuine and public cry for help? Or is it the most desperate, calculated, and dangerous publicity stunt in the history of the internet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of the wildest stories in combat sports and beyond, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. You will not want to miss what happens next.